this is the solution for the last classes. So I create a server to retrieve the data from the endpoint that I showed you, and to retrieve the client list, and to show the details of the client as well. Okay, so to start, I'm going to show the application, and then I will show the code and how everything is working behind the scene. Okay, behind the scenes. So here I put a form validator on that. Okay, so if I don't put my name, don't put anything, validation is displayed. So if I type a username less than 6 characters, I cannot log in. So I need to put a name with more than 6 characters. Okay, I log in the application. The layout is the same, but now we have the client list here, the client list. Okay, so I click here. I'm loading the data. Okay, I have the user list here, client list. Sorry. And if I click in any user here, client. Sorry again. Any client, I go to the client's detail. Okay, so here I have the client detail. Let's see if I can move myself to this side here. Okay, so then you can see me and see the screen. Okay, so here you have the client's detail, such as info, address, and company. And if I toggle here, I can edit the client information, but actually I'm not saving that. It's just to show you how it's happening. So here I'm using two-way data binding to show all the infos. Okay, so let me see if I can here. Okay, okay. So for example, if I change some information here in the input, I can see below the module is actually changing together because we are using two-way data binding. So if we change anything, it automatically is changed in both sides. So for example, pay attention here in the name. So if I change that to Humberto, the name here as well is Humberto now. Okay, simple as that. I'm not saving, as I said. I'm not saving anything. I'm just showing you how it's possible. Okay. For example, pay attention. Take a look in the username now. It's going to be Brett space la la la. Okay. You can see that it's changing. Okay. So if I toggle again the edit, I cannot do anything, and I can go back to the list. It's basically that. Okay. So now I'm going to show you how it's happening behind the scenes. All right. All right. So let's start from the login page. What I did to make it work. So this is the solution app login. The login component now is much more clean than before. Okay. So now I have a module that's any. I didn't create a module for the user itself, so I'm using any in this case, and I'm still using the out service to log in the user in the application. Okay, so this is the component. Let me clear a little bit the things here. Right, and I save. I'm compiling it, so it's going to be refreshed. Okay, it has been refreshed. So okay, it's working. All right. Let's show you the login component HTML. So this is the HTML file for that. So I created a form and I assigned the form to the local variable called user form, so I can access all the informations regarding the form inside this variable. Okay. So when I log in, I submit. I'm calling the function login user, passing the whole user form value. Okay. All right. So as I'm using template driven form here. I don't have the validations, the form group, and all this stuff that I show you then 2 weeks ago, I guess. So I'm putting all the rules, all the validations here in the inputs in the form. Okay, so here I have a required and the min length to 6, and as well I'm saying that this input has a two-way data binding. I'm going to do a two-way data binding this input with the variable with the property module, and I'm as I define it module as any, I can assign, I can create any type of structure inside that. So I'm creating user, I'm just type here username. So I'm creating now behind the scenes a property inside module, call it username. Okay, and the username here is a property for that, and I'm doing the same thing as I did here in the user form ng form with the ng module. I'm assigning the ng module to the property, which is local property, local variable username. Okay, so the username now has all the properties and the behave, not the behave, is all the properties that this input has. Okay, so here I can access the ng module and check if that's valid, if it has been touched, if it's dirty or not, if well, everything. Okay, so I'm saying that I'm using this directive here in G-class. I'm assigning the is valid to this input if the username is valid, the input is valid, and it has been if it has been touched by the user. So it means that the user touched the input and it is valid. So I am assigning the is valid to this input. So what's happening here? If I type correctly, and if the input is valid and it has been touched, so I'm setting the is valid class to this input. Okay, simple as that. And also the opposite. So if is invalid, I'm saying that I'm going to assign this class to this element when the username is not valid and if it's dirty or is touched. Okay, one of both. All right. All right. And I'm displaying the errors as well. So if this has been dirty or touched, if it's dirty or has been touched, and if the username has errors, okay, because all the errors of the input goes to an array. This array is the errors, okay. Our errors is an array of errors for that specific property. Okay, and here I'm showing just if the user is the error is required. I'm showing that for the user. If the min length error is triggered, I'm showing this alert to the user. Okay, this display, I'm displaying that for the user, and I'm also with the button, the submit button in this case. Let me remove this because this is wrong. It's not login user. All right. So here I'm saying that this button is the type of submit. So when I click that, the submit event is going to be triggered. Okay, and I'm disabling that based on this expression here. So if the form is not valid, it's disabled. If the form is valid, this field is not disabled. So I'm able to click on that. Okay, so this is basically the login page now. Okay, so let me show you working again. So not touched, not anything, is not dirty, anything. So I'm click on that. I'm got focus on it, and now I'm remove the focus. Okay, I got the name is required uh, because the field is not being filled. Okay, and as it's required, so it's requesting me to put some data there. So I cannot submit the form as long as I don't put anything inside. Okay, so I start to type it. So another error is has been created because the field is requiring at least 6 characters. Okay, Umberto. Okay, more than 6 characters, so we're good. We can submit the form. Okay, we just submit the form here, and we are going to see the list of clients now. Okay, so the client list, I create a component for that client list, and here I have the JS file for that, for the list. Very simple, very clear. I'm using await and async here because this is a promise. Okay, as I explained in the last classes. So let's show you the client service, and then I'm going to explain everything. So here I have a service. This service is injectable because I'm injecting here the HTTP client. In order to use this HTTP client, you should remember that you must import that inside your module. Okay, so in my module here, I import the HTTP client module from my Angular /common /HTTP. Okay, in order to use HTTP client, I need to import that inside my module, inside the module that I'm using that. Okay, so okay, I have my. Let's go back to the service. What I'm doing here. Okay, so I got two methods here. One method to get all the clients, and one method to get a specific client for that. As you know, a promise has a resolve and a reject callback for that. And here I'm calling http.get. I'm parsing the result as an array of client. And once I receive the result, if it's successful, I'm just calling the resolve, passing the result on that. Just that. I'm just putting a set timeout here just to show the user that the data is loading here. Just that. Because otherwise it's going to just show you, okay, the user list is here, and you will not be able to see the page actually loading. For example, in this case, okay, you saw it. Let's show again. Wait, loading clients. Boom, 2 seconds, and then I get the user list. Okay, just to show you that the data is loading, and to show the user as well, displaying a message to him saying, hold on, we are retrieving your data, be patient. Okay, all right. And to get the user here is basically I pass the ID of the user ID, and I'm just use the same thing. I resolve that passing the object that I receive, and in this case here, sorry, I got lost. Okay, here get clients. I will await the result. I'll wait. Here I'm waiting the promise to be resolved or rejected. Okay, as I told you, if I want to handle the error, I can nest it inside a try catch statement. Okay, but as I'm not doing that now, I don't want to do that, so we are good as it is. Okay, let me remove this guy here. Okay, it's basically that. And okay, now I'm going to show you the HTML file. It's pretty simple as well. So I'm going to show I will show you the table when I have the client list has a length. What it means that the client list has an user inside. Client list has a client inside. It's not empty. So I'm going to show that. I'm going to render that. And when it's not has no items inside, I will show the loading div for that. Okay, the loading message. I also can use, for example, here in the template. Here in the ng if, I can put like a else, and here I put the client loading, and here I can put the ng template, and the name of this template is client loading, and put the same things here inside. It's much more clean. It's cleaner, right? So you can do that with no problems. and we will achieve the same behavior. So no problems at all. Okay. Okay, here I'm showing the data for the user, and I'm putting an event here. I'm using the ng4 directive for each user client that I have here inside. I'm going to do a loop here to display the data. And if the user clicks in this row, I'm going to call the get client detail, passing the client's ID. Once I do that, I go to my, I'm going to redirect the user to the client slash ID route. Okay, and I need to show you now the routes. So this is the route now. I have the clients, and I have also client slash ID. In the clients, I'm rendering the clients list component, and in the client slash ID, I'm rendering the client's detail component. Simple as that. You know about it, I hope, because it's going to be in the test. So study. Okay, let's go back to the user detail component, the client detail component. Sorry. So here I have some properties just for control, and also here on the ng on it, I'm subscribing to the patterns of the route, active route, to get the user ID from the route, and then I can go for the can go in the client service and get the client from our endpoint. Let me save everything. Okay, so I'm subscribing to that. I need to put it here because I'm using await here inside. So if I have an await inside a statement, that specific function must be async. Okay, as we are using arrow function here, we need to define that this arrow function is of the type async. Okay, just remind you. Okay, so I have some functions here for example, the candidate and toggle edit to just change the value inside to toggle the value. And here the candidate is just for the to my HTML file here to define whether the input is disabled or not. Okay, it's basically that. Here, so here I'm creating I create the whole HTML for that, the whole structure. It's kind of noisy in here. Sorry for that. I hope you are listening to me. Okay, let's continue. So if it's loading, I'm going to show the user the display this message. For example, I'm loading the client 1. Okay, client 2, client 3. Well, else, so the client has been, I loaded the data, or at least I tried to load the data. So I'm going to render this ng template. In this ng template, I have other content. I have other, if the client has been found, I'm going to show all this div here. Otherwise, I will show this template here. For example, oops, the user has not been found. Unfortunately, it can happen. So I handle that. How I managed to do that? For example, if I click here, user ID 1, okay? Client ID, you need to change it. Client ID. Client ID is 1. But for example, if I go straight to the URL and type 1000, see, I don't have anything, but I need to handle that. So I handle that using like this. Okay, I haven't found a user in this case, a client, because 1000 doesn't exist inside our list. We just have 10 there inside. And oops, client has not been found. Okay, easy peasy, guys, easy peasy. Okay, it's basically that. And also I use this pre here just to show you, the JSON that has all our clients module. Okay, so here you can see it's the same structure. I'm going to show other thing as well. So this is a JSON, okay, and if I change anything here, I got here below, I got the changes as well. I see the changes at the same time because of the two-way data binding. Okay, because of that. So this is the structure. I'm going to show you the service, and you're going to see the same structure. If I do the get straight in other tab, you're going to see the same structure. So let me go to the service. Okay, this is a client service. I will access. It's not this one. It's this one here. Client, yeah, users one. That's why I'm saying users, because the endpoint is user. So this is a structure. Okay, you're seeing here the structure, and the structure is the same here. Okay, because for example here is Leanne Graham, and here's the same, Leanne Graham. Okay, I just put here for debug the application and to see if everything is working as expected. All right, so guys, it's basically that. It's not that hard as you thought. I think it's simple. It's simpler than you think. So that's it. Okay, so I already sync that on my GitHub. You can access that. So here I have anything. You can clone on your machine and study. Okay, so that's it, guys. Thanks for watch. If you watch it or not, well, at least I tried. And see you for the next classes. Bye.